reaction time from Robbie. A 0.30 reaction time from Wendell.
It took us about, I would say about 2 weeks to put everything back together, drop the engine inside. All of this was done after work and all till like morning hours.
Yeah, with this I would like to find that in between again. With like being able to drive it, like if I want to cruise, you know, still. And then when I want to go to drift, it's ready for me. Let's just go. I'll pack my tires and my tools and stuff, and then, hey, yeah, let's go drifting. That'd be nice if I could. It'll get there.
First of all, drag racing started when my dad went to get deported to Iraq. I actually started with just an engine, no cars. What happened is I was into Toyota Corollas, then I saw Hondas on the drag strip on online YouTube, watching them on the drag strip, and they were doing crazy numbers, bypassing V8s and V6s. So that's pretty much where I got the love for the Honda build.
If you compare it to drifting both cars, the RX-7 was... I couldn't even compare it to the RX-7. The RX-7 was way better than drifting because it was set up for it. I had the welded rear end, so, and the steering knuckle, so I had the extra steering and the e-brake, and I don't have any of that yet on here. I don't really need to weld the rear end, but I mean it's not close to the RX-7 for drifting. But when I would bring the RX-7 up to Kauai, or to go up the mountain, it was kind of like unstable because it was just for drifting. I built it. Okay, this is gonna be my just to drift. I don't think I can keep up with this. I already spent like $2,000 on this motor, and I was like, okay, I'm going broke from this car. Even with gas, every week is like $40 just half tank. And I'm like, okay, I can't keep up with this car. I mean, it's a nice car, I got pretty far with it. Like, learned a lot from drifting with it, but I had to switch to a car that had better gas mileage for now, just until I get going again.
From there, I started to fly Oahu every weekend, buy cars, bring it down home, and tear them apart, take all the extra parts and sell the car, and use all the extra parts as upgrades to my new car, which I bought a 95 Honda Civic hatchback. So from there, I tore that whole thing apart again. Everything came out, brake lines, that thing was bare metal shell. All my schooling with any engine, motor, car, anything that to do with cars is in this garage right here. This is my only school. I never went to school outside of here. Everything was on the computer and whatnot. So yeah, I came a long way from start to finish on this. I'm the type of person who is all about pride. I like to work on my own things. I don't let anybody touch my stuff. I like it to be done a certain way. So at least that way I know if something went wrong, I know where it went wrong because I knew what I touched beforehand.
I had one before. I had a SR5 model though. When I was in school, I had a truck, but then that truck broke down on me in the middle of, like going to class in the morning. And so that truck wasn't reliable, and I searched on Craigslist and I found this Corolla with a 3RZ turbo swap inside. It was a complete sleeper. It was off stock, stock body, stock suspension, and just had a motor in it. Everything was nice. The interior was really clean, and it had like 80,000 miles, I think. And he was asking 45 for it. And so we went to check it out and ended up buying it. And from there, I kind of liked it, you know, as a Corolla. But I just didn't like the SR5 model because when I was using it to drift, I was welding the rear end and stuff, and I went through 3 rear ends, 4. But on the 4th one, I left it open. I didn't even weld it, and I traded it for an Integra. And from there, I just liked that old school, I don't know. And more so, I've always wanted a right-hand drive car. So when I saw this was right-hand drive, I was like, oh, okay, I kind of want to pick this up, but this is a hatchback. And the red one, or the other Corolla I had, was a coupe. But going from a RX-7 to a Corolla, yeah, it's kind of, I get that a lot. A lot of people come up to me like, oh, how you went from one RX-7 to one Corolla? Like, that thing was so cherry, you know what I mean?
And then I guess things, you know, life got in play. We didn't really have time to race anymore, so we kind of sold off most of my racing stuff for about 2 years. And then my uncle called me up one day and he said, hey, I got, you know, I'm selling all my Honda parts and all my cars. So we went over to his house that day and I bought it cash, $8,000 cash. Some of his engines at that point, whatever money I had for whatever he had at that point, I bought some of the engines and the car itself, this car right here. I never ever thought I would buy anything older than 92 Honda, but I did, and I brought it home. Probably took us about 3 weeks till we started working on it. And dad woke me up one day. He's like, you know what, we gotta jump on this car. We're gonna get out this, you know, this drag season. So I said, okay, whatever. Bring the car out. We stripped everything down, and this car was another car that was tried maybe 5 different colors: green, white, red, black, teal, everything. And dad was like, no, we cannot bring this car out in multi-colors. So we gotta paint it first. So I did a real quick body work on the thing, and I actually work for Kauai Auto Group, so my boss let us use the paint booth, rent the paint booth for a good price. So we brought it over and painted the car white that day. Took us about a day total. And then we brought it home. We pulled all the glass off before we painted it, and then the roll cage was painted, the inside of the car was painted. So when we first started racing this car, I told dad that he's gonna be the driver, and he didn't believe me at all. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. I said, well, that day of the drags, we went out, and I said, you got your pants, shoes before we left the house? Oh yeah, I got it. I told him, you can't walk onto you can't come and help me at the starting line if you don't have pants and shoes. So I kind of tricked him that he needed to have the pants and shoes. He went out there and we're putting on the slicks, started it up, and I said, you know what, they're starting to call cars into the pit, and I told him, hey, you know what, you better put on your pants and shoes, you're driving. And then he's like looking at me, oh, you could see the happiness in his eyes, smile from ear to ear.
So I mean, it's pretty close to how I want it. It's just not painted, and it's pretty much set. That's kind of why I wanted to pick this up too. I already had a cage in it, you know. and had the wider fenders, and had rims too, especially the works. Yeah. But mostly just outside for now. Work on the outside.
I mean, there's so many little stories here and there that about this that I probably missed, and yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much one crazy journey for me. You are remedial.